Okay. And I'll start the good recording now. Just to sync it up. There we go. Okay, so it's time for another unedited notes. This is just where I spew out whatever it is that I want to talk about, and I'm not going to edit anything. I might put a little bookend at the end, but that's about it. Whatever I am presenting to you is what you get. You get to see the unfiltered stuff that I usually cut out, maybe for a good reason. Anyway, the main reason why I wanted to put out this is the world is opening back up again and artists are touring again. And we've already got a number of really big names out there. And the one that kicked this all off for me was Genesis. And for those of you that don't know, Genesis is my all-time favorite band. They're the ones that got me into progressive rock. They literally changed my life when I saw the Musical Box perform the Selling England by the Pound show. It blew me away to such an extent where I felt myself being transcended. So I was lucky enough to go and see them back in 2007 when they were doing their Turn It On Again tour. And now they're doing their Last Domino tour. And it's really just, the three guys, Phil, Mike, and Tony. Chester Thompson, unfortunately, is no longer touring. But we have the main bass player and rhythm guitarist, or whatever his name is. What's his name? Genesis Tour 2021 band members. Let's see. This is where I usually cut to do some research because I wanted to talk about something, and I can't. But it's the guy that they've been. I'll know it when I see it. Now, well. Somebody's going to mention down below of who it is that I'm talking about. And I went to get tickets. I signed up for pre-sale and, I stood in line, but I had my phone. And the cheapest seat way up in the nosebleed was like $150. And within 10 minutes, those were all gone, which means that the only ones that were left were like $275. And this was in Toronto at the ACC, or I guess now it's the Scotiabank Arena. And it really started like putting something into context for me of, is ticket prices too expensive for bands? Like, are they getting too expensive? And I mean, this has been a phenomenon that's been happening pretty much since the beginning. I remember when I went to see Taylor Swift and the cheapest seats were $80 and I was literally the last row in Skydome. But at least I could afford it. It was $80. I could afford that. I can't afford anything over $100. Like, I got to be real. I'm a millennial. I keep begging you guys for money at the end of all my videos. And there's a reason for that. I don't have an extra $150 for a single seat lying around, especially when I want to, take my dad or take my my girlfriend. For three people at $250 a pop, it's a lot of money. It's 75. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. I'm a librarian. But it's a lot, and I don't have that. So I don't know. It really kind of, on the one hand, the too expensive concert ticket only really applies to those of us that have to live in a budget. And in that sense, concerts are something that, those who have money can go and see it. And unfortunately, those of us that don't, it's something that's becoming more and more scarce. And it's definitely a shame. And the only way that we can kind of talk to the musicians and the bands about setting their prices is by not going. But I mean, Genesis has already added 3 new shows. One, I believe, in Montreal, because they sold out too fast. So we are sending a direct message that you're not charging enough because too many people have already signed up and you've already sold out a show. So, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I remember when I went to see Haken for the first time and tickets were literally $15. And that was the greatest show I've ever seen, was when Next to None was opening up for Haken. It goes down as one of my favorite shows, and it was one of the cheapest. Now they're starting to charge, $40 and $50, sometimes even $60, but I'm still able to pay that amount. That amount. I'm not able to pay upwards to $200. So unless we stop paying that price, they're going to keep charging it because they're going to charge as much as we're willing to pay. And with a certain amount of a population having quite like a large access to that type of funds, I don't see that changing anytime soon. If anything, I see it getting worse. I see the ticket prices going a lot higher. And I know that you can spend upwards to $1,000 to get the access VIP passes, but and I'm fine with that. Like, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Even though I don't necessarily agree with it, because you're also barring those of us who really, really want to, but don't have the means to do it. That's not an option for us. And it's a shame because, like, put this into context, and I know I'm going a little bit off script. A very, very good friend of mine comes from an extremely wealthy family, and they went to a Pink Floyd tribute band, not knowing really any Pink Floyd tracks, but they, because they're very extremely wealthy, were able to sport the money for the entire VIP package. They have a lot of very exclusive merchandise. They were able to meet the band. They were able to have, a sit down and a meet and greet. I'm repeating myself, but that's what I do. And when they went to actually like enjoy the show, after the whole meet and greet and getting all the exclusive limited edition swag, they only knew like 2 songs. The rest of the show, they were like, well, this was boring. Whereas someone like me, who does not have those funds, who would literally extremely enjoy that, is barred from having that experience. And who's to say who's supposed to have that experience? Is it those with the means or those with the passion? Our society is saying it's those with the means. So anyway, that's just a little bit of a sidebar of the overall general discussion that we're having. And it's a little bit of a shame because I am very disappointed that I won't be seeing my favorite band quite possibly for the very last time because I literally don't have the funds to do so. And they wanted to set their prices so high that even the most affordable ones were still outside of my range. Because at least with Taylor Swift, the most affordable ones were in my range. And it is that, do you get a compromising experience because you're way back in the nosebleeds because you can't afford it? Who knows? Anyway, that's just a little bit of a thought experiment that I've been thinking about since I was trying to get those Genesis concert tickets. What have you guys kind of thought about this? Is there a band that you've loved but were barred from seeing because of the ticket price, because of the sticker price? Or was there a band that you were kind of hemming and hawing over and not really wanting to go see, but went to anyway because the ticket prices were so cheap? Like, one that I can clearly remember was when I went to see Gojira and Tesseract. I'm not a huge fan of either of those bands, but like tickets for that was like $40. And I'm like, sure, I'll go see both of those bands for $40. Why not? Like, I genuinely enjoy their music. I'm not going to spend anything more than 60, but I'll go and see them. So was there a band that you've seen just because the ticket prices were so good? Let me know about that and your thoughts about these rising ticket prices, because they're only going to get worse, by commenting down below. And I think that's all I've got. So, if you like what you see and you want to help support me, because this is me passing around the hat, hopefully trying to get enough to go see some concerts, consider donating to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Notes Reviews. I've left the link down below to check it out. You can check out my other works. I've got my podcast, Quid Pro Quo, wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as here on YouTube. I've got my tabletop role-playing game, Notes on Tabletop Role-Playing Game, or Notes on TTRPG. Left that link down below as well. And that's all I've got. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, Notes out.